Hi there, Austin Lawrence, your mountain biking MLO with the product of the week. I am going to be focusing on the FHA loan this week. So FHA loans are the Federal Housing Administrative Loans, and they are what we term GSE loans. They are government-sponsored entities. So what is an FHA loan? This is basically a mortgage that's backed by the FHA. It's a government-backed loan, and because the government insures this loan, lenders are usually a little bit more willing and have a little bit more flexibility in order to help people to achieve their home buying goal. So why first-time home buyers use FHA? Because this is usually what we focus on is FHA is used by mainly first-time home buyers, but there are some other programs available because they have a low down payment, easier credit requirements, and then they have a higher debt to income flexibility, which we refer to as DTI. So it's 3.5% down, which is a really, really, really great low down payment. It eliminates that 20%. Example would be on a $400,000 loan, like $14,000 down. Credit, you'll see, and I give you some snapshots of some lenders giving opportunities for this, that they do have a less stringent requirement for FICO scores, meaning it can go down into the 500s, whereas a lot of conventional loans after 620, 640, they just are non-existent. And then the back end, what we refer to as the DTI or debt to income ratio is extended. Usually you can go up to sometimes 50, sometimes 55%, which is very useful. The trade-offs, this would I would refer to as the disadvantages of that. They require mortgage insurance. So there's an upfront mortgage insurance charge, which is 1.75% of the loan amount. There's also a monthly service charge, which will be determined based on a number of different factors within the loan. That's usually pretty obvious. The other problem with this is once you actually are in an FHA loan, it's really hard to get out of it for eliminating the mortgage insurance purposes, meaning to go to 80% LTV. Usually they have a requirement of 11 years. Property requirements, this is important to note. They usually want an FHA property to be in turnkey status, meaning there isn't peeling paint, there aren't cracked windows, there isn't mold, there aren't any of the things that would make this a non-living situation. Here's some examples. I wanted to give you kind of a snapshot of what those look like. Um, we have two of them here. This is from JMac. You can see they're going all the way down to 500. They actually have condos that are part of this as well. No income limits on down payment assistance, which is important. And then this is another one, 100% of the gift funds. So you can get money from relatives, blood relatives usually to help you with this particular loan. Same thing here. Here's a little bit more of a stringent kind of process there at 580. I've seen them go down to 560 though. It's a manual underwriting is available, which gives an added benefit to you being able to go through this process where you're not just being kind of sent out because the electronic underwriting system says, no, they don't qualify based on these criteria. Otherwise, these are just a couple of the snapshot. I have a number of different lenders I can go to with this. So if you have an opportunity to go FHA, it's good to go with a broker like myself because if one actual lender doesn't approve you, we can actually shop some other lenders to see if their programs are a little bit more flexible or fit into your specific guidelines. Uh, Otherwise, why or who is the best candidates for the FHA? First-time home buyers, um, actually buyers with average or they're in the process of rebuilding the credit. That's another great one to focus on FHA. And then clients who need a lower entry point into home ownership, meaning less money, less requirements. They maybe aren't fitting the vanilla mold of cookie cutter mold, let's so to speak. Here's a pro tip that I usually try to throw in there just because a lot of people think, oh my gosh, I'm getting in an FHA loan. I'm kind of stuck. I've always heard of conventional loans better. We always say this in the industry, marry the rates, meaning the programs, but or actually, I'm sorry, marry the house, but date the rates or the programs, meaning they're not going to be permanent. And here's a good example. I always recommend that we focus on getting everything in line for you to refinance into a conventional loan because there are a lot more advantages to that, which I can go into deeper with your individual situation. Otherwise, why should first-time home buyers use the FHA loan? Well, the FHA loan has a greater starting our starter option, because it allows you to get into the home with 3.5% down, has much more flexible credit requirements. The trade-off, as I said, kind of the negative is that you are going to have mortgage insurance, but it helps you to become a homeowner sooner rather than waiting years to save the money or try to fulfill some random criteria that you're not sure how to achieve. Otherwise, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot those into the comments, or you can direct message me. Here's my website as well as my direct email and contact information. Feel free to reach out anytime. Again, my name is Austin Lawrence with Empire Home Loans. I'm a mortgage broker. I can help you if you have the need, especially if you're a first-time home buyer with an FHA loan. All right, I will see you on the road.